All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. There's no intro because I need to make a new one since YouTube is now copywriting my intro song. I think I talked about that last time. So, no intro or outro because I've got to change up the tunes. But anyway, welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Let me just fix some things real quick. Move this just over here just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that'll work for now. All right. So, as most of you guys know, we're going to be covering the Sebastian Rogers case. We've been covering it for the last, 2 weeks now. Been getting a lot of information, have some inside sources who've shared some shocking details, to say the least. And of course, I'm focusing on what we have in front of us, the evidence, which very little there is, but there are details. We just have to look at them, come together as a team, and figure this out. The puzzle pieces are there. We just need to kind of come together. But I do appreciate everyone's support. If you're not familiar with this case, I will just go over the quick notes here. But this is Sebastian Rogers. He went missing on February 26th. Actually, before I do that, let me back up once real quick here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. At the beginning of the show, I always like to... So, we always touch on big cases, usually cover them. What I always like to do is bring in a recent missing person, because typically there's so many missing cases out there and they just don't get the same attention as, say, Sebastian Rogers does. So what I'd like to do is feature them at the beginning. That way when they come in, the first thing they see is a recently missing person, and if they happen to live in that area, maybe they can help. So this is Bailey Cameron. He went missing August 25th. We're September 2nd. So what, we're looking at a week, 8 days. He is just 23 years old, 6'1", 190 pounds. So he's a tall guy. Was in the Marines. He is missing. He was last seen at 2 a.m. So looks like August 25th was a Sunday. Leaving the Coyote Bar in Carlsbad, California. The Marines' backpack, phone, and sunglasses were all found on the sidewalk. He's stationed at Camp Pendleton, which is 4 miles away from Carlsbad. Ooh. So his backpack, phone, sunglasses were all found on the sidewalk. That does not sound good. So again, Carlsbad, California, the Coyote Bar. If you're familiar with that area and may have any information about this case, it's in Carlsbad, California. You can call 760-931-2197. And prayers for Bailey and his family. Hopefully they find him. But that doesn't sound good, finding his backpack and phone. All right, now on to Sebastian Rogers. Let me get this over here. All right, so just a quick recap for anybody who doesn't know his case. 15 years old, went missing, believed the 26th, which is sometime in the morning, 6:30 a.m. That was a Monday morning. He was last seen wearing black sweatpants, sweatshirt, glasses, no shoes. This is interesting. We're going to talk about this, something that I haven't really brought up, but I've been watching some other shows, and we're going to talk about how it's very interesting that they say he left with a small flashlight. And I do have a theory about this. And so they did a massive search for this boy. They even checked landfills because they have the garbage trucks. There's different garbage trucks. There's ones where it's just got the single driver. That's kind of like my neighborhood. And then they have other ones like his neighborhood where they have the driver and then usually one or two guys on the back. And instead of having arms, mechanical arms that pick up the garbage can on the side, they're actually in the back. And then what they do is they have guys hanging on the back, one or two, and then they go and wheel the garbage can over to the back of the truck and then let the machine do the rest. So apparently, I guess when they did that, since obviously they do the same routes over and over, it had felt heavier than normal. The one at the Proudfoot's home where Rogers was living. And so that's kind of what sparked the landfill, if you didn't know about that. But unfortunately, that's got to be a tough job. But no signs of Sebastian. We hit the 6-month mark, just over a week ago? Well, yeah, 26. Yeah, just over a week ago. And finally, in my opinion, some traction. We now have a reward out there. We have the FBI making a statement, which is pretty big, which, in my opinion, kind of states that he was abducted. Now, well, I'm not going to get into the minute details, what abduction and the definition of abduction. I know some people are talking about that, but I mean, I think the more important thing is the light and what we have in front of us. That's just my opinion, though. All right, let's get going. But I do appreciate everybody in here. We got just over 600. I've been working on this case nonstop. As a matter of fact, probably after today's live show, I'm going to probably take a couple of days off because I've just been studying, looking up stuff left and right, anything I can think of, outside the box, inside the box, you name it. I've been looking at everybody's email, or trying to get back to everybody's emails, sending in tips. I do appreciate that. And there has been some amazing stuff that people have sent me that kind of guided me in looking into some different things. But I am going to play some videos. Of course, if you've seen the last few lives, you may see some of the same stuff, but I always add new stuff in. Of course, the main thing I wanted to do is look at the measurements. I've been talking about that. And I have, in my opinion, some approximate measurements of this car. I think we're starting to narrow down what kind of car this can be, or I'd say more importantly, excluding the cars that it can't be. That makes sense. So that's what we're trying to do here. So if you can, hit that like button, and let's get going. No one said that the dogs tracked Sebastian sent to the road with the garbage can, did they? You know what? No, and well, I mean, they say, I have the audio. I don't know if I have the audio clip in this one. I may just have the video. They say, well, this is according to Chris Proudfoot, that it kind of goes up the neighborhood because it goes from the side of the neighborhood, goes back almost like towards the front. So in a way, I guess you could say yes, but yeah. Oh, that's right. The reward's up to 75K. That's right. Somebody came in with 25. Thank you so much. I forgot about that. Like I said, that happened while I'm doing research and stuff. So again, they originally thought this is where the lights were at. Somebody did an overlay, and it kind of just got left there. We had a members live yesterday, and there was something that I noticed that caught my eye as I was preparing for that live show, for the members only live. And I was like, holy shit, this guy had it right in the ballpark, but I don't think anybody ever noticed it. So as you guys know, I've been talking about how I see that the two lights at the top came together to figure out kind of where the lights were coming from, which kind of changed the ball game and obviously got the attention of what I've done to the masses out there, and of course to the locals. But let me play this so I can get to chat for a minute, and then I'm going to play something that kind of blew my mind. But let me play this so I can get to chat for a minute.
Which have been assumed to be floodlights. And using this line, we can determine that those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck.
So true.
Using this method, we can determine exactly where those lights are coming from. So looking at where that truck was parked that night, seen in this overview, photo here taken the day of, we can then use a Google Street image and line up approximately where that truck was parked. Notice we add the red line and look at where it takes us. There is a house exactly across the...
So the reason why I play this is because there's always new people learning this for the first time. So you got to realize that. For those people that have seen this a bunch of times, you got to understand there's new people coming in. Like I just saw a video yesterday, a group of people, I forget the channel's name. I wish I could shout them out, but they played some of my video and they were, amazed and kind of breaking it down and sharing their thoughts on it. So it was very interesting.
Street. This house is next to the Rogers residence. This home has its garage facing towards the camera. It also has 3 garage doors on it. Guess what? That's right, it has floodlights above each garage door. So here, I am taking a street Google view of the direction of the camera, and then adding the security footage overlaid into the Google image. And notice how the floodlights do line up with the image. But because the footage itself was filmed with a phone, it is a bit shaky and doesn't always line up. But this does give you an example of where everything is taking place. The lights labeled as subject 1 and 2 are moving across the 2 yards. So the big question is, are they flashlights or something else? And where are they coming from exactly, and where are they going to? What I'm about to show you next will shock you to your core, because the angle of the camera is not quite level, shows the potential abduction.
Okay. So again, like I said, I played that just to get everybody kind of on the same page. This is Chris Proudfoot. So the person that asked about that, listen to what he says. So in a way, it's like he kind of comes from the front yard. I think that the dog just maybe caught his scent from a day before, because obviously he's coming in and out. Remember, he took out the trash can that night before. So they could have just been picking up his scent, because they can pick up scents up to like 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. So it could easily, if the dogs kind of went to the front of the lawn, even to the trash can where the trash cans go. Remember, Katie says that he took out the trash can that night. So they could have easily been picking up that scent. And because what he mentions is they go to the back and the side of the yard. Then they apparently come back. And then they go diagonally, if you listen to it. Tom says, you've worked your butt off. Yeah, I have. But everybody else has been pitching in, so it's not just me. So I appreciate everybody. But he says, on this case, we are all sitting on the edge of our seats to watch any updates you put out. Thank you for your hard work. Love this channel and community. Thank you so much, Tom. Huge supporter of this channel. Means the world to me. Thank you so much, buddy. But yeah, let me play this.
Right, they go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
If you're looking at my house,
Okay.
it's going to be the right-hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sorry, I forget the person that mentioned that question, but yeah, it could be that maybe the dogs are kind of confused, because keep in mind, they can pick up the scent, I know, for up to like 2 weeks or something like that. So they could have been kind of confused and picking up his scent days before. And again, it could have been from that night, if it's true that he did wheel out the garbage can. So, maybe they were originally going to start to follow the scent where he goes between the homes, but then kind of caught the scent for him going back and putting the trash out. And then they get the hit where he's going diagonally. Tom says, inside job. Too many bases covered here, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Muddy Boots, thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate the support. Brat, great name. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Groovy Gal, awesome name. Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. And Angel P, love the pick there. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard. And that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that,
This is a combination of the path the lights were going, and according to what Chris Proudfoot claims, the direction of where the scent dogs went. In my opinion, it's clear that they are taking the same exact path, according to my overlay, Chris Proudfoot.
Good to see you,
and what the
Gestapo.
neighbors have mentioned, they all line up. Is this just some crazy coincidence? I believe not.
Now, how was his scent?
it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us
Now,
through their
again,
backyard.
for those that have seen this footage,
It cuts
I'm going to show something different. I through on some negative, which actually
As I mentioned earlier,
helps you
I
see it
spoke
in a
to a
different
local who
light.
knows the neighborhood and some of the neighbors very well. While I share the new information told to me, I will be showing a recreation of the events that allegedly happened that night. Now we know more. Footage has been released, but in my opinion, the order in which...
Okay, so I just want to play something because I remember when I told you guys how they kind of originally, the light video came out, and I know one YouTuber, I'm sure maybe there's some others, said that the floodlights are here, and even the locals had thought, oh, okay, that's where the lights were at, and then they were coming across the street, and that's what they thought were going on. Well, check this out. This was, I thought this was very fascinating. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
There's been an exhaustive search for Sebastian Rogers, but with few updates from authorities in recent weeks, some have wondered, is enough being done?
We're doing everything we can do. Every time a tip comes in, we follow up on it.
Eric Craddock is chief deputy with the...
Yeah, we could talk about Craddock and how he, I believe some possible corruption. But I'm just going to go to his interview right here where he talks about the lights. And then I want to show you something that pops up when they're talking about it.
Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here, in an area behind the teen's home.
Yeah.
Since we first...
So look at that. And I thought that was really interesting. So he had it. Nick Barris knew. And obviously he talked to the homeowners. That's where he got it. And so this just kind of confirms that the home, they knew where the lights were at, and it makes it, the reason why I wanted to show this is it just frustrates me more. Because, look, now this is obviously, they did what, maybe a Google Earth, and took a picture. Make sure I got my window shut. And look where they have it. I know it's probably small, so I'll show you on this. But obviously this was coming from the news, so they knew. I mean, look at that. So if you're not familiar with what we're looking at, this is Roger's home right here. This is where the floodlights are at. This is the direction the lights go. So he had it. Nick Barris had it in this interview, day one, where those lights were at. So I just kind of thought that was interesting. But then the answer that he gets from Craddock is just...
Since we first aired the video last month,
Cracks me
authorities
up.
have said... No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know.
We're going to turn that into a t-shirt. We don't know what we don't know. It cracks me up every time I hear it. Oh my God, that statement. And then, of course...
So yes, it could play a role.
So many are, of course, closely...
It has no evidentiary value, but it could play a role. Anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to play that part. I never really, because it pops up real quick, but I thought that was kind of interesting that he did have where the lights were at from day one. So anyway, going back, we got 1,000 people in here. Thank you guys so much again. Again, I'm playing some of the stuff you may have seen before, but we're gonna play more stuff that you haven't seen, and I'm also gonna run some stuff in the negative, which obviously flips the way the lights work, and you'll be able to see the lights under basically a different light.
I will be showing a recreation of the events that allegedly happened that night. Now we know more. Footage has been released, but in my opinion, the order in which...
Based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to be...
Oh, yeah. Anything I share, believe me, has already been...
One other question I have is
They know.
recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2
All right,
flashlights.
I'm going to go past this.
The night he disappeared.
Released a statement from...
We've talked about this, how this bothers the hell out of me because this isn't normal for the family that I've worked with that have missing children. They would jump on any tip lead, especially if it's video evidence. They would jump on it, and to blow it off doesn't make sense. But with the new FBI coming out, it's very interesting. I know, we don't know what we don't know. But yeah, with them saying information leading to oh, sorry. I'm getting static in my ear. Anyway, back to the FBI. What they said is information leading to the location and return of missing teen, or the arrest of conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. So clearly, they believe that he was taken, or there was like some kind of abduction, in my opinion. So here is the video that I've done, which obviously has changed since originally one of the neighbors come forward and they believed that the car only came up to Kellen and Stafford and stopped near the stop sign. Then after I put out my video, speaking with a couple of locals, eventually they told me that they believe the car went all the way towards the top and then eventually turned around. Now, what's very interesting is if that's true, and they believe it is because there were cameras and people up that night. So some of the Ring cameras that are on this road, let me back this up just a little bit. So there's quite a few houses that have Ring cameras, or different Arlo Ring cameras, but the ones that are Wi-Fi, that are not hardwired into like the router, which is susceptible to jammers, which I never even knew about. Apparently during that week, around that time period, one for sure Ring camera was fried. That was the words used. They had to get a new Ring camera. And then apparently there was a second one, not 100%, but they believe at the very least 2 cameras, possibly both Ring cameras, were fried, which again is very interesting. If that is the case, were they trying to jam, people's Ring cameras when going up and down that street, because the jammers, if you don't know, you do have to be within a certain distance. There are certain jammers, I guess there's, obviously depending on how much money you have, there's some basic ones you can get, I think like $50, $100, and then there's some of obviously thousands. But apparently a lot of the jammers that I've looked at, you have to be within a certain distance. I've seen, obviously you can look up videos, and there's some where they're in the street, and, so they have the camera on the house, and they walk out into the street where a car would be, and, trying to test to see how far the signal goes, and it works. So it does make me wonder if that is what they did. Yeah, and if you do have Ring cameras, of course, because they can hack into them, you want to go, just a tip, you want to make sure you're hardwired, or if you're going Wi-Fi, you usually have the WPA2 setting password. You want to set it to WPA3 is what because I was looking up, a bunch of things about jammers. But if you do have Wi-Fi and you can't do hardwired, if you have the option to set it to WPA3, I'm not sure because I'm not, that... I'm tech savvy, but not that tech savvy. But apparently that can block whatever these jammers apparently do. Now, in this video, I just want to explain why I had two people coming out. Because this has been obviously dissected multiple times, and people thought that I knew that two people came out of that car. The reason I showed that is, and I forgot because I did a short video, is I kind of wanted to have two scenarios, because obviously it's either an inside job where family related or, strangers. But either way, we're going to have two light sources, right? And here's something else that I caught my attention for the first time after watching this a million times. But this is what they believe the car did, is it sat there. And I know if you've seen this not 100 times, but I know I played this a bunch of times. But I'm going to show something different. And also, there's something that caught my attention that maybe they were trying to achieve, especially if it was an inside job. And then I'll pause it and I'll try to get to chat, because I'm sure a lot of people have some suggestions. So again, we have subject 1, and what I did here is I switched the Google background to where it's kind of more fall, winter, where obviously there's not as much trees. This is, I think, it's timestamped, or not timestamped, it's got the watermark here, 2021, but I think it's like 2017, one of those. So it's a few years back, but it allows you to see what's going on a little bit better. Do I think Sebastian's family are watching your videos? I have no idea. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me either way. I just want to help find Sebastian. So, if it's an outside job, hopefully I'm just trying to do my part, to help find Sebastian. So here's me running it under the negative, which kind of adds a different light. And we notice that subject 1 peers out between this home for a little bit and then goes back, right? Subject 2 has already came out between the Rogers home and the lights, the home with the lights, and now has kind of disappeared, now has come back. And now, for the most part, it's pretty graceful until this part. It's almost like there's a little bit of a struggle here. which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, they're here for quite a bit, if you notice that. And this was really... And notice the lights disappear for a minute. It's almost like there's a struggle right here, in a way. Really interesting. And that was a pain in the butt to overlay, because that's where whoever was filming it with their camera was really shaky. So, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare to try to keep that stable. But I have another theory about what they may have been trying to do, especially if this was inside, is I wonder, because they mentioned that he had the keychain flashlight, right? And we have this video. I do wonder if Subject 1 stayed back in this particular area and didn't realize that they were actually, out where the camera could see them. And they were really just trying to make it look like he wandered off by himself. Let me know what you think in chat, but that's kind of interesting to think about. That maybe they wanted this video out, but they didn't realize Subject 1 had kind of popped out. And they just wanted one subject kind of just crossing over. Because it's just so weird that subject just kind of sits there just, barely next to that house, I don't know. It's really interesting. Definitely didn't jump at the first time. Yeah, if you notice the light, you see the light quite a bit, right? When it's coming over. Now, for those that haven't seen, I did some tests, and I'll show you guys. Anyway, just reading some text. Sorry, got distracted there. Just seeing if I get any information. Yeah, that is interesting. Seth said the keychain didn't work, but obviously, that was later on, right? So, again, if Seth isn't involved and this is, on allegedly the Proudfoot side, was that detail left in there because maybe they wanted that light to be seen, but they didn't realize Subject 1, maybe they thought the angle of this camera was, more at a certain angle and didn't realize that Subject 1 was going to pop up. Anyway, like I said, I've seen this a million times, and so I'm just trying to think of every different thing that they may have been trying to think about. Again, inside or outside job, it's just trying to look at every different possible theory. Batgirl says, I like that theory. It kind of popped in my head when I was watching somebody break down my video yesterday. Now, from what I understand, this home that has the camera, right, if I understand, it's hardwired, right? So if they had a jammer, they wouldn't be able to jam. Now, I don't know if they can get into the settings if it's hardwired, but from what I understand, if they're hardwired into the router, the camera, I'm talking about the security camera, that they may not have been able to jam that, but I don't know if they can mess with timestamps. It is weird that this camera's timestamp stopped working 2 days prior on a Friday morning, and then apparently started working the day after his disappearance. Could it be just a strange coincidence that happened? It's certainly possible. But I'm going to show you guys, I know I played a lot of this stuff. We're going to get to some new stuff here. But every time I watch this, there's something kind of new that catches my eye. Like this light here, which we know the car is kind of sitting in the middle of the road, and it appears. So this light is coming from the floodlight from the house that is sitting across from the street. And it appears that maybe these guys are walking back to the car. Now, the whole reason why this car would even turn down the street if it's already facing towards the exit is a real mystery. Again, could it be part of the jammer and maybe they wanted to jam this camera? But it is strange why they would park like this with their headlights off and then literally just back up and then leave. There has to be a reason that they did this, which is super odd. Chick says, Chris, thank you for all the time you put into this. Sebastian's case will be solved soon. Thank you for your awesome work. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the love and support you guys have been giving me. Sorry about freezing up earlier. I was getting feedback like crazy, and I couldn't tell where it was coming from. So, yeah, this is the floodlight that I was talking about. We're going to talk about the size of the car and how we can kind of come up with an approximate size of the car, but I think it's a good estimate. Again, I'm not going to get it exact. You know, there's a lot of variables at play when trying to figure out this car, and obviously we don't even really have the outline of the car, but you know, kind of going off what the locals, you know, they say sedan, so we kind of have an idea, sedan. Then I did some experiments with my car, learned some interesting details. If you missed that, we'll talk about that. But yeah, we see this light pop up here, which is really interesting, which seems like somebody's maybe walking to the car. You know, I think that neighbor, Miss Bobby, said that they believed that something was going on around the car. So maybe that's about the time when that started happening. Then we have this video that supposedly comes last. It's a very short video. And I also ran it in negative so you can see it under two different lights here. So this one goes really fast, but notice this is what really, and then just adds to what I did with my experiment, and I'll explain everything and put it together, is notice we only see the light like once or twice. Like it's so fast, right? And they believed, from coming from the homeowners, that they believed that this person jumped the ditch. Which, if you think about it, how long it took them to come, you know, towards, right? So the first video, you know, it's a good minute and a half long where we see the subject 2 kind of coming across, disappears for a while, then it comes up. So it's like they're walking down in the ditch, coming up. This leaked footage here, where apparently they're going back, it's real quick, and we only see the light like a couple times, which tells me that the light is going away from us, and that's why we just don't see any light. And maybe the only times that we see the light is maybe them maybe kind of looking back. So again, it's quick. And then I picked up this light going back, which is really weird. So we see the light here. This is slowed down even more because it goes so fast. We don't see any anymore. It's gone. And then we see it appear. I'm sorry, I had to play it really slow because you only see it twice. And then at the end, we see this weird light go back. Almost just like how the first video is, where there's like a spotter or something, you know, kind of making sure, you know, they get back. It's really strange. But yeah, and here's me running it under the negative because I wonder if I could see anything different by doing that. Let me get to chat here, guys. I'm so sorry. Bobby J coming in, supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Bobby. You are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Purple Freak, great color. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Serenity says, they never said anything about Sebastian taking a flashlight until they were asked about the light video in one of the interviews. Ooh. Yeah, because they didn't do an interview for, what, 8 days? Man, I don't know. That's not normal. Maddie's mom says, hi, Chris. I appreciate all the hard work you have been doing in this case. Thank you so much, Maddie's mom. I've got a lot more. I'm just trying to kind of get everybody on the same page because, again, I saw a live show yesterday, I think it was yesterday, where they just saw my video for the first time, and so they were breaking it down. So, and even though I've been kind of doing this for 2 weeks, it seems like, you know, more people are getting are coming in and seeing this for the first time. So I just kind of want to make sure everybody understands everything that's going on in chronological order and not just jumping to the stuff that I had prepared. But anyway, Sammy,
That's what I had to do. Tie my camera up.
Sammy G has questions. I like that. Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. I appreciate it. Sweet Dreams, thank you so much. Good to see you. OG in this channel. Appreciate the support. All right, I think I'm going to end the poll. We have 1,000. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, it's probably going to stay at 80%. So I'm going to go ahead and end that. That way so I can get rid of that. People crack me up about your evidence not being right. I don't get into the drama side of things, so
I did the thing, and I'm gonna go 100
I do my
yards
thing. I stay in my lane.
to the dark.
People can do whatever.
to reenact the lights.
Maybe they'll point something out that I missed, and I'm not perfect. I get things wrong all the time. So
Got the flashlight.
I don't think it doesn't hurt for people to look at what I've done under a different light. You know, maybe they'll find something I missed, you know. And I know there's a few probably that just want to debunk it just to debunk it, but, you know, kind of sounds pathetic in my opinion. So I'm going to run through this quickly. If you guys missed it, I did reenactments, went out 3 o'clock in the morning, and I did a flashlight, a headlamp, a cell phone, just the light itself, and then the flashlight to see what looked best. And as you can see, the flashlight, it illuminates the lawn, so it wasn't the light or flashlight in my opinion. Unless you had maybe like a low, small flashlight, keychain flashlight, maybe. But the cell phone, I'm just going to play these two ones, and we're going to get to the measurements here. We're moving on to that. But that's just the cell phone light. Now, again, it appears blue because I have like a blue background on my screen. So obviously, if you had like a white background or whatever. And then that's the flashlight at 80 yards away. So remember, if you missed it, I looked at how far approximately from the camera to where the lights were at. And it's about 80 plus yards. So I'm around approximately 85 yards, kind of walking diagonally back and forth and trying the different lights to see what looked good. And yeah, I think cell phone, I think most people agree. I think it kind of depends. Cell phone, just by itself, and the cell phone light, I think would work as well. I love that name, Uncle Tacos. I appreciate your views. Thank you. I'm just trying to catch up on chat here. Thank you so much. And so the other thing I did with the car, and then I'm going to get to the measurements here. I took my car. Now my car is an SUV. And I wanted to take it to a dark area. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't have those lights in the background. And again, this was just something I just kind of decided to do at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm so glad I did, because to me, it helped me answer two big questions. Or, well, I don't know if questions is the right word, but two things that I didn't even think about until doing this. And the first one is right there, and the second one is right there. And I'm going to pop these up here in just a second. So let me go forward here. Yep. Okay, there it is. So for those that have seen it, know what I'm going to talk about. For those that haven't seen this, be kind of interesting. So notice my car, when I turn off my car, obviously no lights. When I turn on my car, I have what's called daytime running lights on, right? Notice I doubt their car is turned off. Notice when they kick on their lights, it's boom. And this is in super slow motion, this video down here. Like their lights just kick on. So what it tells me is this model or this vehicle likely does not have daytime running lights, or has the option that you can turn those off. Which again, that kind of helps us narrow down the vehicle and what it could do. Because I highly doubt the vehicle was turned off and then they turned it on and kicked on their headlights. Because I tried to do that and try to replicate how fast that happened. And in my opinion, this vehicle does not have daytime running lights or has the option to turn them off. Now the tail lights. I noticed when I put it in reverse, something popped out to me. I think it's here. And that is the exclamation point. Oh, maybe it's not that part. Is eventually we get these exclamation points that come on, right? And what I believe, my theory on those are... Oh, I may have cut that out. Short in time. Oh, I think I do have it later on. But what I believe that is... Oh, I do have it. Okay. is I believe that is the reverse light, because obviously they're going to put it in reverse. So they hit down the pedal, and then we see what appears to be these exclamation points. And I think that's them putting it in reverse, and that's the white light within the brake light. There's so many different brake lights and the way they're set up. And the way that I have mine, I have the brake light with the, the reverse lights in them, and there's so many cars that have different ones. So in my opinion, when we see this, the exclamation point, which comes up here, I believe this vehicle is a vehicle that has those kind of lights in them, if that makes sense. And you'll see it here in just a second. John Stone says, I wish we had footage from 7 days before all the way up to this video. Yeah, maybe to know. Yeah, when you get deep into stuff, you'd like to see, it's like victimology. You want to study their behaviors. What are their patterns? Is it typical for Chris to be talking with Katie Proudfoot at that time of night, for 3 hours? Is that something they did, every night or on a Sunday night? Those are things that hopefully the FBI goes back and studies. I'm sure they know a whole lot more than, we know. But there's the exclamation. And I originally thought that these had to be vertical taillights. But after seeing my car, even though I've kind of got the oval lights, I am now kind of back to the theory that I don't think they have to necessarily be vertical taillights. And it just kind of appears that they are. But again, I really think with that exclamation, I think that is the reverse light kicking in. Because look, it even gets brighter there. And it's almost separated. Again, shortly after this, the video cuts. So what I think we're looking at is something like this. Go back real quick. Oops. So I think we're looking at a vehicle that's got to have something like this as a brake light, if that makes sense. So let me get to chat for a minute. I've been rambling on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get everything in so I can get to the measurements here. But I'm trying to show all the different things that I've discovered, and I could be wrong on stuff. Let's see here, just going back here, going back. Thank you so much, Christine. That means the world to me. If by chance, you don't have to, but if you would like to donate PayPal or Venmo, if you do, please let my mods know, because I have my notifications on, but sometimes I'll get them right after the show. So just by chance, if you do donate that way, just please let my mods know, because a lot of times I get them right after the show. Okay. Now to the measurements, right? We've been talking about how I've been really wanting to figure out the measurements. The locals believe this is a sedan. I've been looking at, I was looking into like daylight cars that are known for not having daytime running lights. Nissan's one of them. Toyota, I believe. There's a few, and we're talking like mid 2000 to early 2000 teens, if that makes sense, or not even teens, like 2012, 13 maybe. So that kind of gives us an idea. I know everybody was there's so many people that were set on that Infinity QX or whatever. I don't think it's that. I doubt they would be using a vehicle that they're obviously going to be seen driving around after he disappeared. I'm sure it's a vehicle that would be from like an extended family member. And likely, and if you think about it, it would likely probably be an older model. So it doesn't have, some kind of Bluetooth in it that it can be tracked, right? Because you don't want to be driving around. Think of Alex Murdaugh case. One of the things they were able to kind of bust him on is his vehicle and where he was at, because the vehicle he used had the OnStar and the other thing, infotainment, whatever the hell. It's Bluetooth and but yeah, infotainment and the OnStar. They're able to obviously track the car. And we did the same thing in that case. We did a bunch of control tests, which actually caught the attention of a lot of people. That was a lot of fun to work on that case as well. The Real Rockin' Robin, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. It means the world. Maddie's mom renewing the membership. Much appreciated, Maddie's. Thank you so much. Sunset Rising. Debunking is what people do in science. Yeah, agree. Yep. A theory can never be proved, but it can be supported as mostly being correct. Sure. Also, another thing, I think the car that in question, somebody sent this to me. I do wonder if this car has fog lights under the car. Which there are, I've been looking at a bunch of models and stuff. There's some Nissans, Altima, Sentra, and it almost appears as if we got maybe the fog lights kicking on as well. I could be wrong, but there's this weird C shape that comes in that really is bothering the heck out of me, that I'm still trying to kind of understand. But I do wonder if the reason we have the C is maybe we got the headlights that are coming from the top, and then the bottom is the fog lights kind of kicking on. Again, that's just one theory. But somebody sent that to me and it was like, ooh, that's possible. And there are some Nissans and I'm sure a bunch of other sedans that have that setup. Then this is what's really hard to decide is, sorry, let me go back one more time, is this the other tail light or is this the brake light coming on? When you hit the brake light and you have the light that is in the rear window, just above the rear seat, I played this. This is a much newer Nissan. I doubt they would be driving something like this, but this is what I'm kind of talking about, is something where you kind of got the lights like that. Oh, Joe Jones says, "Hey Chris, I don't know if what I sent you was helpful, but did you get it?" Oh, I don't know. Did you send it recently? Is it via email? Please let me know, because I know she says she has a Nissan Altima, and she was going to help me out with something with turning her car on in the dark, because it would be real interesting to see what that looks like, and if it is line up, I could overlay it. It'd be really cool. I will check my email. Now let's get to the measurements real quick, and then I'm going to get to the email here. I'm kind of curious about that. Here's a Nissan Sentra. Again, we got the reverse light here. I think he's turned the lights on. I don't think these are daytime running lights. I think he's just got the lights on. So it could be a car like this. Notice that's kind of, kind of got a vertical light to it. But it does have the fog lights down at the bottom. All right, I want to get to these measurements here. Here's something that somebody sent me in, which is amazing. This is kind of what I'm looking for, and whoever sent this in, I forget who it is. If you're in chat, thank you so much. This was really awesome. What would be amazing is to get this exact shot, like this dark and everything. The only thing that's missing, if this person would have drove forward and tilted the car, like if we were looking at it slightly sideways a little bit, almost if they would have drove and kind of turned a little bit, because we're looking at the vehicle kind of at the side. I think we're looking not quite, we have a side view, but I think we're looking at it slightly, it's not perfectly at the side view, if that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out the right word. But man, that was awesome for them to send that in. That did kind of help me understand how the lights work at that how dark and where, because when you look at lights, it looks like they go very wide, but when we look at this video, it looks like they're very narrow and straight. So I have a few ideas on why that could be, but still have to look into it. So this footage came from Stephen Crabtree. Huge shout out to him. He has a drone. He works for Verizon. He got some footage for me because he was out there. He works for Verizon, and he was out there, I think, on working, I believe. And he said he'd get some drone shots from me, so huge shout out to him for doing that. And he said the big thing is he would measure these cuts, which is very huge, and I'll show that here in just a second. Crimson Crime says pull up 2020 Altima. All right, we'll see. I know people then start asking me to pull up a bunch of cars. Believe me, I do appreciate the tips, but let's check the measurements out first real quick. So, sorry, I gotta take a sip here. And then we're gonna spend a little bit of time on the comments here. But, so in the cement slabs, I've talked about this before, when they lay those, they have to put cuts in them. Because when the cement dries, after a while, it wants to crack. And so what they do is they put in what's called cuts. And they typically put these cuts in anywhere from 12 to 18 feet. And then obviously, if you're going to go 12 feet, then you're going to continue to do 12 feet because you just, because then it looks, it looks good. And Steven went out there and measured it for me, and he told me that these cuts especially the one that's sitting behind the suspicious vehicle, is 12 feet. So if we take that, which I'm going to show here, so also in the driveway is we have a Dodge Ram 1500. Now, this particular Dodge Ram that they have, they've got, I think they have 2 Dodge, maybe 3 actually. We can see 3 trucks here. I know they have 2 for sure. This particular Dodge is approximately 19.3 feet, approximately. This particular vehicle. And sorry, I'm going to show the overlay here in just a second with the yard. Where are you? There we go. So here we are. I zoomed in. As you can see, this is 12 feet, right? So we got a line. So we have, something to base how the length of the vehicle. Now, are we going to get an accurate, an accurate length of the suspect's vehicle? No, but can we get, approximate? I think we could definitely narrow it down that it's, it's not a, Dodge Ram 2500 that's 19 feet. We can definitely narrow down that this car is under 15 feet, in my opinion, which is huge. So that would be probably the approximate length of the vehicle. That's why I would love to have like a Nissan or something like that in the dark where they kick on the lights, and I can kind of gauge where the headlight would be and where the taillight would be. Then I could get a little bit better idea of where to kind of put the line compared to the 12-foot line, if that makes sense. Nana's Dragonfly, I think it's Cadillac SUV. I know it has that vertical tail lights. I know I did the Cadillac like a week ago. I know I did look good, but I think a Cadillac's much, well, I wouldn't say much, but it's much lengthier. I think what we're looking at, in my opinion, based off the measurements, lining up the lights, we are looking at approximately 14 to 15 feet. And I would lean more to like 14 and 14 and a half feet. And it just so happens, oops, that came up quick, sorry. Play that again. Sorry, that's my neighbors. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Sorry, I wanted to pause this. Okay, so again, I say 14 to 15 feet. It's just to be, again, I can't get it down, exactly. But I think, let me know what you think in the chat, but I think we're looking at something between 14 and 15 feet. I'd lean more towards 14 to 14 and a half feet. And it just so happens the typical medium size of sedan, remember, a sedan is what the locals have mentioned. Locals. The typical medium sedan is 14 feet long. Examples of mid-size cars include Toyota Camry, Nissan Altima, Honda Accord, and Hyundai Sonata. And most of those cars in certain years, especially just foreign cars in general, were known for not having daytime running lights. Not all of them, but certain makes in a particular year, because United States made it a law way back. I forget the year that they wanted cars to have the daytime running lights or something weird like that. But yeah. So again, it's just little puzzle pieces, that we're trying to kind of put together. And again, I would just want to say this is teamwork. Because I have been people sending me stuff by email. And I do appreciate it. I've had some videos sent in to me. And I have Joy, who I'm going to look at my email right now and see what she has. Joy, and if somebody can highlight Joy's comment, if I missed it. I don't know if she sent in a video. I just see the Ultima and then, saying text, call me, Facebook message, but there's no attachments or anything. I don't know. Unless are you sending it to my Facebook page? Is that... Amy sent me something as well. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look at that after the show. Almost looks like what I was looking at. Kind of different, though. No. Can someone let me know in chat? I'm going to look for Joy for a second, guys. Because she says she has an Ultima, and I would love to see... Oh, she says, I think I understand what you're trying. Yeah. Okay, that's what I was doing. I had my driven... Okay, alright. Awesome. Yeah, I don't see it, Joy. It just said Ultima and then the thing. Yeah, maybe the video didn't go through. Yeah, if you could try to send that over, that would be amazing. I'll go through chat, and if you have time to do it now, if you don't, no worries. But if you do, oh my god, that'd be kind of cool to see before we head out. But I want to get to chat for a little bit and read some of your guys' comments. I'm just going to kind of go back to the beginning. If there's something that you want me to play that you have a concern with, I'm just going to kind of go to random comments. Again, if you'd like to support this channel, again, I'm going to go out and do some more control test. But, a great way to support this channel, Venmo, PayPal, or becoming a member. Any support, I do, guys, appreciate everything that you guys have done. Peach Cobbler says, Chris, do you think it could be a tow hitch? I don't think so, because a tow hitch... I think we're looking at a sedan. I mean, I don't know if a tow hitch should be on a sedan. Again, keep in mind, I'm not like a car expert at all. I'm just kind of learning as we go here. Phyllis says the tail lights look like it shows the outline of the vehicle back from where I sit. I know, it is interesting. When you look at the video from afar, it does seem like you can kind of understand the vehicle and how it fits. Keep in mind, I'm not the one zooming in on this. This is what drives me nuts, is all the footage that's been leaked out. I mean, I guess we're got to be grateful that we have something. But all the footage we have leaked out, it's either zooming in or it's bouncing around. And so it makes it really tough on me to kind of, try to fix that so it's not, bouncing around like it does. But I do see what you mean. Again, and it's almost easier to kind of get a picture of it when it's zoomed out. But again, this video, it starts out zoomed all the way out, and then it zooms in on the vehicle. I think they were trying to zoom in, obviously, to try to see if they could see the car. Unfortunately, it's just too dark. And I'm sure it's probably lost a generation or two. Oops, I got an email. Let's see. Okay, nope, not the email I'm looking for. Thank you, Janet. I'm sorry. Again, yeah, I appreciate everybody that's out there looking at it from different angles and even dissecting what I've done. If you may have captured something that I missed, it's definitely possible. I'll keep that up for a minute. Let me get to more chat for a bit. Let's see. 420 Mama says is going to solve this case. I don't know if I'll solve the case, but I will do my best to help provide as much information as I can learn. And at the end of the day, it will be a team effort because people have sent me some stuff that I didn't think about, and it's really helped. Why do headlights only show grass off to the side, not road in front? Why do headlights only show grass off to the side? I don't think that's grass. That's in the road. So what I think, yeah, and here's something else. I'm kind of glad you mentioned this, right? So this, in my opinion, this is the road, and if you notice, there's actually almost like a shadow right here, right? Where there's kind of nothing right here, right? What I think is going on there, and let me find his video. Give me a second, guys. Right here. What I think probably is going on, this is just my theory. So the car would have been about here, between these two cuts. I'm thinking, and you can almost see it, I'm assuming there's got to be something in this road. As you can see, this road's kind of beat. It's not terrible, but it's kind of beat up. And it dips down. I think the light just didn't capture the cement in the proper light. And there may have been like a divot somewhere in here. If that makes sense. That's my theory on it anyway. Sorry. Trying to get back to... But yeah, I think that maybe there was a divot. This is still the street. And maybe... And also the road kind of comes up. That's also why I think, if you notice, it kind of goes in a straight line, doesn't come out wide. If you look at the road, it kind of humps in the middle. If that makes sense. It kind of goes. It looks like it's not completely flat. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but maybe that's why it just looks like a straight line, because the light just wouldn't capture. Again, that's kind of going a little bit deeper than I've, But that's just my opinion and theory on it. I don't think that's grass. I think it's road. And the cement maybe might have been just, there could have been a divot there. I also thought maybe there could be a person there, but to be able for that to happen, you would have to have a light source coming from either direction, casting a shadow on the person to cause that. That makes sense. You would need a light source for that to happen. But yeah, again, I think at the end of the day, I think we're working with obviously a sedan within around 14 and a half inches. Obviously, I know there's tons of sedans that are in that ballpark, but neighbors believed it looked like a sedan. The vehicle would have been likely a darker color, likely gray or black, likely somebody familiar with the neighborhood, in my opinion. Likely doesn't have daytime running lights, and if they do, they had them turned off, which is more notorious for foreign vehicles. There's also been some rumors of Nissan, and that's why I've been kind of a little focused on Nissan. And the tail lights, I think we're looking at something likely like this to create the exclamation point. Again, remember, I had taillights just like this on my car, and I was able to kind of recreate the exclamation point. So I don't think they necessarily have to be vertical taillights to still create that vertical look. I think that's more of just kind of just the optics and camera and light source. Then a typical sedan is 14 feet long. Examples of mid-sized cars: Toyota Camry, Nissan Altima, Honda Accord, and Hyundai Sonata. So I think, we're kind of getting closer and closer to, and also excluding cars as we go, in my opinion. So the money came from Dog the Bounty Hunter. Interesting. Yeah, that kind of popped up when I was kind of putting all my stuff together. So I really didn't get to look that into, how that all kind of came together. Good to see you, Quinn-san. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Sandra. Yeah, let's hit that like button. Let's get that up. I appreciate it. I am trying everything under the sun to look at this case. Sorry. My neighbors are being loud. Probably going to take a break for a couple days just to kind of flush everything out. But I still speak with some of the locals here and there. Again, they really appreciate my discretion, and that's why they still talk to me. And if there is information that I can share, I will share it. Okay, Lexi Lynn said she sent me something. Okay. Oh, hey. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, Joy sent it in. Oh, I'm excited to see this. All right, I have to preview it. I hope to God it's not anything it shouldn't be. I trust you, but
all on real quick.
I'll turn the voice down real quick. Huge shout out to Joy Jones sending. I have no idea what we're gonna watch. I better let me preview this just in case. I trust you, Joy, but I better just make sure. Ooh.
Put them on and leave them on.
Oh, Joy, you're amazing. Okay.
Okay, pull out on the road a little bit.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I can show now. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get, someone troll me and, next thing I'm showing something not good. Okay. And so this is a Nissan Altima, I understand. I forget the year. I think this. And look at the tail light. The tail lights are in the, or the reverse lights are in the with the tail lights. Ooh. Oh, that's a great angle.
Stop.
Oh, you're so awesome, Joy.
I am not zooming in.
Oh, I can't hear what you're saying. Oh, and you're zooming in too. Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Not zoomed in. The headlights are.
I don't.
The lights off.
Joy, you.
Turn the brake lights out.
This is so awesome. Please, show Joy some love in the chat. That is so awesome.
Someone was sitting in the car with the car on.
I know you're probably like, oh, we're just looking at a car in the dark. What's so awesome about this? There'll be some things I can do with this video.
Okay, turn them all on. Now back up.
And she's getting it from different angles.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Chris, I sure hope this has helped you. I've been trying, buddy.
Bless you, Joy. And your, if it's, I don't know if it's your husband or whoever helped you. Bless you. That's so awesome.
Since the beginning, this case is
let me make sure. Yeah, I don't want to show anything that might show a license plate or anything. Or is that the end of the video? Okay. Nice. So I should be able to work with that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for because I'm trying to get kind of a basically what she had is perfect. I'll still be able to work with that, but kind of a little bit taller view at a slight side angle, but that was amazing. I can still look at that and especially work on the tail light part of it. That's amazing. So that's just all of us coming together, see? Was there a truck with a shell on the back at the home of the camera? Was there a truck with a shell? I have no idea, to be honest with you, Michelle. It didn't look like it. So I don't know. Holly with the $1.99 coming in saying great job. Thank you so much. Marcia says, how about a sketch artist? Maybe, you know, yeah, look at it from all angles. Definitely. Leslie says, you are doing an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you so much, Leslie. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Boogie. Again, I've been getting tons of emails and I've been trying to respond. I know a lot of people mention cars. Oh, did I say inches? I'm sorry. When I was originally looking up the dimensions for the vehicles, they all come in inches. So if I did say that, my apologies. Yeah. I've been staring at my computer for way too long. I need to kind of unplug for a day or two, really. Tom comes in. Thanks for all your hard work, Chris. Great channel, great followers. Thank you for your support, Chris. Smash that like button. Thank you so much, buddy. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say Volvo. I'll keep that in mind. I definitely have more than one saying Volvo, so I will take a look at it. NASA. Where's NASA? Where's that at? It's cutting the light because of the road. Yep. I agree. Totally agree. If the car hit its light, could be signal he's in the car. Why even pop lights on before hit main road? Yeah, if I actually mentioned that, not it like that, but I mentioned like them kicking on the lights was like a signal to them. So yeah, I agree. That could be them. Like, hey, we've got him in the car. Let's go. When I first saw the headlights, I thought it was just a glare of a truck shell. Do you know if they have a truck with a shell on the... Oh, I think I already went with that one. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get to some questions. Again, yeah, thank you, Joy. Everybody's thanking Joy. That's really amazing. Jan says, Kia Soul, to me the lights look like a back hatch. It does in some way. It does. Quinn says, contact NASA. I don't know what they would say. You know, it's dark time. Would they be able to see anything if that's the direction you're going? I like the thought. Yeah. We know NASA and Disney can do some pretty amazing things. Thank you so much, Kimbo. I didn't see if by chance... Anyway, just reading, see if I have anything. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I do. I need to kind of unplug from this case for a bit and then come back, you know. But, yeah, if anybody else wants to do something similar, again, don't have to. But if somebody would like to do that, again, we may be able to kind of put together something and overlay. I just want to share one last thing before we head out. And there's just something that really bugs me. that I really want to figure out, and I think we need a car almost at an angle. We have this weird C thing, right? And it bugs the heck out of me because I really feel like there could be something here. I know I mentioned this before, but I really feel like that C, trying to get where it zooms in. There's one. You know, what is this? You know? Is it just part of the car? And that's, you know, it's almost right there. It's almost like you can make the shape of like the bumper, if that makes sense. There's a Nissan Sentra, early 2000s. It's got the body type. Let me show you. Sorry, guys. One last thing here. If I can find it. I've got so many vehicles. Like I said, I really try to... I've looked at the Kia Soul. That's funny. I know people mentioned I've even looked at the Kia Soul. There it is. Is that the one? No. It's that one. Something like that as well, but with the reverse lights. Then you'd have the vertical tail light. You got the fog lights down the bottom. You know, remember the C thing that I'm talking about? Like, is it this that we're looking? Let me show you just real quick. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? The C? Because remember, this car is going to be much smaller. It's like an ant, you know. It'd be like this. And would that fit in right here, the C? Do you see? Do you see the C? So that's like the fog light, and that's the headlight right here. And the C is coming from the kind of front bumper here. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's what happens when you're spending like way too much time looking at this footage. Yeah, I think a PT Cruiser is too small. I think that's shorter than 14 feet, and I think we're looking at something that's in 14 feet area. Remember, they said sedan. Remember, all the notes that I just showed you, I'll show you one more last time. These are the notes. Neighbors believe sedan, likely gray black, likely familiar with the neighborhood. The daytime running lights, which again kind of points to a bunch of different kind of things with foreign cars and kind of the year. The tail lights and the length. So, and look at the category. In my opinion, I think these four right here in the category are what we're looking for. There's more I've heard about, but I just at this time, have to wait until it's the right time to talk about it. And I wish I could share more, but keep in mind, everything I know has already, FBI and TBI already know. So always keep that in mind. So I think at that, I'm going to end it. I do appreciate everybody in here. Mods, thank you guys so much for the support. If you did send in some photos, I appreciate it, and videos. I will take a look at them. Again, I'm probably take a break. I do also have a second channel where I do paranormal. So I may probably just take a break for a couple days, do a paranormal video just to kind of unwind, and then maybe come back Wednesday or Thursday. But we'll see. But again, thank you to all those for the support and donations. It really helps me because not only do we go out, not only do we cover true crime, but we go out and search for the missing. And right now it's getting cooler, and I would really love to go back out and look for Aidan Clune. If you're not familiar with that case, you could look at the playlist I have. A boy that had been missing, a teenager that's been missing for 2 years, and we found the first physical evidence, his shoes. And you know how we did that? We went back to the beginning, looked at the little evidence that we had, and we put together the most likely scenario because he went wandering into a mountain range. And because we'd been out there so many times, we determined that we kind of knew where his cell phone last ping was at. And it was near his last footprints. We searched around there and we found his shoes. Unfortunately, we haven't found him yet, but it took that long to find his shoes. I think it's going to take a little bit longer to find Aidan, but with donations and stuff like that, will allow us to go back out there and do that, because it does cost a lot to search. It does, but with that, I thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your hard work, Chris. Great channel, great followers. Thank you all so much for the support. Leslie, you are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much, Leslie. Holly S., great job. Tom says 2 cars, front car, the jam car that gets detected. 2 cars, front car, the jam car then gets detected. The jam car. Oh, so you're saying that 2 cars could be involved. There's never been mention of 2 cars, but I'll have to pass that on. That's interesting thought. That is very interesting. Maria, thank you so much. Great channel mods. Yeah, we do have the best mods ever. Thank you so much, Angel. And I think I got everybody. Again, if you donated Venmo or PayPal, I will try to get back to you in the next show. So, thank you so much. Yeah, I need a break. I really do. Yeah. What is your other channel? It is Mob Crew Paranormal. Everything is in the description down below. So after the video, you just go to description and the link is there. And my mods are on top of it. So with that, we are going to head out. And if you're new to the channel, I do lives and I do regular videos. So I usually have something coming out just about every day. So keep that in mind. So, McDonald, thank you so much for becoming a member, supporting the channel. You are so amazing. And I am going to get out of here. The people that sent in pet pictures, I'm going to be working on those starting tonight. It's probably going to take a couple days. So, love you guys. Thank you so much, Carol. I'm going to get out of here before you guys start bombing me with memberships, even though that would be amazing. But thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Labor Day